This is Real News Media TV, coverage you can trust. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates. Good evening, my Real News Media TV family. Welcome back to the channel for another news update for April 23, 2023. And in the news this evening, 2 Clarendon delivery men are gone missing. Police in Clarendon are seeking the public's help in locating 2 delivery men who mysteriously disappeared in the parish on Friday, April 21. The missing men have been identified as 23-year-old Shane Bryan, otherwise known as Blacks of Treadlight District, Clarendon, and the 29-year-old Richie Jackson of Box Avenue, Maypen in the parish. According to the police, Bryan is of dark complexion, medium build, 165 centimeters, or 5 feet 5 inches tall, and sports a plaited hairstyle. He also walks with a stagger in his right leg. His mode of dress at the time of his disappearance is unknown. Meanwhile, Jackson is of dark complexion, slim build, about 185 centimeters, or 6 feet 1 inch tall, and sports plaits in the center of his head with bald sides. His mode of dress at the time of his disappearance is also unknown. Reports from the Maypen police are that on Friday, April 21, both men who operate in the Maypen area met up at a popular location in the town. They left on a motorcycle headed for York District, Clarendon. None of the men have been heard from since. Anyone with information that they believe can help the police in locating these 2 men, please contact the Maypen police at 876-986-2208 or the police emergency 119 number. 2 shot and injured in Castleton gun attack. 2 men are now nursing gunshot wounds after they were shot and injured in the Castleton area of St. Mary on Saturday. The news understands that men traveling in a white Nissan Selfie motor car opened fire at a 19-year-old barber who was riding his motorbike in the community. The incident reportedly happened near the School Hill, Golden Valley of Castleton. It is believed that the men alighted from the car and opened fire at Gray. He reportedly received gunshot wounds to his hands. The gunmen then drove off and went further into the community, where they opened fire on a 30-year-old man. Reports are that Prince was sitting on the side of the road when he was attacked. He received gunshot wounds to his back. He was taken to the hospital, where he is said to be in a serious but stable condition. Upon processing of the scene, lawmen reportedly located 4 9mm spent casings. A motive for the wounding has not yet been established. Investigation continues. Body found in Montego Bay identified as elderly jerk chicken vendor. The St. James police have commenced their investigation into the circumstances surrounding the shooting death of an elderly jerk chicken vendor in Montego Bay, the parish capital, early Sunday morning. The deceased has been identified as 64-year-old David Gordon, popularly called Dave, who was of a Barnett Lane, Montego Bay address. Reports are that about 5:45 a.m., the police were summoned by citizens who reported hearing a barrage of shots coming from the direction of Howard Cook Boulevard. Upon the arrival of the police, Gordon was seen lying face down in a pool of blood along the roadway with what appeared to be gunshot wounds to his head. The scene was processed and the body removed to the morgue. A motive for the killing has not yet been established. Ex-convict gunned down by lone shooter in St. James. The St. James police are investigating the circumstances surrounding the murder of an ex-convict who was shot by a lone gunman in his community on Friday morning. The deceased has been identified as Junior Edwards, also called Kochi, of Bullock Heights, Somerton, St. James. Reports are that about 7:15 a.m., Edwards was leaving a shop where he had purchased cigarettes when he was pounced upon and shot multiple times by a gunman who later fled the scene. Upon the arrival of the police who were summoned, Edwards was found at a garage, lying on his side in a pool of blood. He was taken to the Cornwall Regional Hospital, where he was pronounced dead. Fish kill forces temporary closure of Reach Falls. The Urban Development Corporation has ordered the immediate temporary closure of Reach Falls, one of Portland's premier tourist attractions, as a result of a fish kill. In a brief recording obtained by the news, the UDC said that evidence is suggesting that poisonous chemicals were used in the river to catch a fish and a crayfish, which resulted in a fish kill that has caused an unbearable stench at the attraction. The UDC stated that large numbers of dead fish and a crayfish were spotted on Saturday and Sunday, which triggered the move to close the attraction as a precautionary measure. Commenting on the closure, Mayor of Port Antonio Paul Thompson said it will adversely affect the vendors whose livelihoods have been disrupted. According to Thompson, this could create undue hardships for the vendors and their families, having already gone through the ravages of the global COVID-19 pandemic. Butcher held for alleged murder of his 72-year-old wife now charged. Retired butcher 79-year-old Cecil MacDonald has been charged with the murder of his wife Yvette on April 15 in St. Catherine. The retired nurse was allegedly chopped to death at their home in Azar Lane, Bogwalk in St. Catherine. The police allege that Cecil attacked his wife with a machete inside a bathroom about 2 a.m. He was held on the scene following the incident. MacDonald was charged on Saturday. His court date is being finalized. Kingston man accused of killing 17-year-old daughter charged. The father who allegedly stabbed his 17-year-old daughter, Shadiki Calvert, to death in Kingston on February 4 has been charged with murder. He is 39-year-old Terence Calvert, a factory worker of Barry Street in Kingston. The Ellenson Road police say about 1:10 a.m. a dispute developed between the father and the daughter when a knife was used to inflict a wound to Shadiki's chest. She was taken to hospital, where she died while receiving treatment. Calvert was arrested at hospital, where he was taken after he was found unconscious with his throat and both wrists slashed on April 4. He was treated while under police guard and charged after a question and answer session. Review of Road Traffic Act regulations to be completed in 2 months. The Special Committee of the National Road Safety Council was set up to review complaints and suggestions concerning the regulations accompanying the new Road Traffic Act is anticipating that it will complete its work in another 2 months. A report will then be submitted to Cabinet for final decision on the comments. In February, Prime Minister Andrew Holness asked the NRSC to conduct a review of the regulations following criticisms from several quarters regarding certain provisions in the Act. The committee held its first meeting last month. On Saturday, Floyd Green, Minister without portfolio in the Office of the Prime Minister, told the news that several recommendations are being reviewed.
What we have done is reached out to various entities, including public transport operators, for their comments, suggestions. We also made an open call for people who are interested to send in any comments, suggestions that they have regarding the new Road Traffic Act using roadsafety@twjamaica.com. We have started to get comments from the public, the wider public, and the plan is to have our next meeting next month to go through those comments and hopefully to make recommendations to the Cabinet sometime during next month or early June. One group has reached out regarding the new stipulation for people over 70, which the new Road Traffic Act now indicates that if you're over 70, then your driver's license would expire every 3 years, and you would have to do a more detailed medical report. There are people who believe that 70 is too low an age and that should be raised. People have raised the concern about being able to have a digital copy of their driver's license and that be sufficient. The new Road Traffic Act now indicates that you are to have your license on your person when operating a motor vehicle.
Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates.